In this video, we are visiting and camping in the incredible Lassen Volcanic National Park and spending the night in Redding, California for 4th of July. We're starting off in the world's busiest airport, Hartsfield-Jackson in Atlanta.
Welcome aboard the plane train. Please hold on.
We're flying Delta today, so I'm going to make a quick stop in the Sky Club. Unfortunately, my travel companion can't join me, but I'll be nice and bring him a little latte. We ended up getting bumped up to Comfort Plus seating for the flight, which was really nice because it's a long flight out to San Francisco. So we had lots of legroom, free drinks, and quote-unquote premium snacks. And even better, we were able to be some of the first people to get on and off the plane. Now that we're in San Francisco, we're taking the airport train over to the rental car area. I would say maybe you're German, but really it's this that takes it to the next level.
Continue on US 101 North.
We had to drive through San Francisco, which was really quite nice. We'll wrap up our trip with some time in this city later on, so that'll be its own video. It was cool to be able to drive across the iconic Golden Gate Bridge in this convertible. It was absolutely spectacular. It's wild. Driving across the bridge, it was so cold, but as soon as we got over to the other side, we were experiencing some really high temperatures. I think it was showing around 107 degrees. As we're heading more inland, it keeps creeping up in temperature.
It's like in the oven.
It's like in the oven. It is hot. It's like 114 degrees. We're gonna stop in this Walmart on the way and grab some food and camping supplies that we weren't able to pack and fly with. I really don't like this.
Yeah.
Why should I have to ask somebody for $1 lighter? As we get more on the back roads and into the mountains, the temperature starts to cool a lot, which is great because it would have been really awful to camp in such hot weather. We arrived in the park after hours, but I have a park pass, so it really doesn't matter either way. We're camping in the Manzanita Lake campground. I chose it specifically because of its proximity to the camp store, which has showers. But guess what? They aren't in operation at this time. What a bummer. Regardless, our campground was in this lovely wooded area. It's time to set up. I packed up all of our gear in this checked bag. And for dinner, let's do some mini cast iron pizzas. They turned out great. It's the next morning and the 4th of July. I just walked over to one of the campground bathrooms to get ready. Our individual site doesn't have running water. And afterwards, we have a morning fire going for an easy breakfast, which is this potato scramble, and we cooked up some Spam. After breakfast, we're driving out over to the camp store to use the payphones, as there's absolutely no reception in this area. But what do you know? They're not working, just like the showers. Phones don't work, showers don't work. We need to get it together over here. I feel like this is peak season. So we end up driving about 15 minutes out of the park to get some reception and make contact with the folks back home just to assure them that we're still alive and we're not the next national park true crime victims. Upon making connection, we promptly return back to the park. Since it's the 4th of July, it's actually a little bit of a line to get back in. We packed up the campsite and now we're starting off our tour of the park with a stop at the Loomis Museum and Information Center. There were some more payphones here, but of course they didn't really work. I mean, supposedly they do with a calling card, but I didn't even know those were still a thing. Let's walk a little bit on this trail around Manzanita Lake. We finally get to an opening on the trail with a good view of the lake, and I believe that is Lassen Peak. We're now continuing to head deeper into the park. It's great to be able to drive with the top down and take in that fresh national park air as we drive along the main road. We make a stop now to see Summit Lake. We start on this little trail, which was unlike anything else I've ever seen. It's clear that there's been a major fire here. The black burnt trees are quite the contrast to the vibrant new growth in the area. But after a little walking, we realize the lake's not actually super close to the car, so we get back in and drive closer to it by stopping at the Summit Lake North campground area. It's definitely easier access to this crystal clear lake here. Now we'll continue on to our next stop, which is the Lassen Peak trailhead. We're definitely gaining elevation here, as we can start to see more and more snow. Once we arrive in the parking lot, we take a minute to make some lunch. Subway station. And now let's start the hike. My phone kept signing out of iCloud, and I also had absolutely no internet connection, so I had to switch over to filming everything with the GoPro, which is why it may look a little bit fishbowl. We really haven't gotten that far into the trail yet, but the view is already amazing. It's pretty much all uphill for the first half. I honestly wasn't expecting so much snow. I really should have brought the yak tracks for this one. We decided about a mile in to turn back around. We passed a park ranger who said it was getting kind of slushy and slick up at the top, and we don't really want to get our shoes wet, nor do we really even have the right shoes for that anyways. But it's okay because, like I said, the view so far has been plenty amazing. So we found this nice little boulder to sit on and have a snack and enjoy the view. Once we get back to the parking lot, we make a little photo shoot with the Mustang and this big snow wall. And then back on the main road. Let's make a quick stop here at this melting frozen lake, which I believe is Lake Helen. It's a really cool sight here. And we'll continue on down the main road now to head towards the other park entrance. We had planned to do the Bumpass Trail, but it was closed due to snow. According to the park website, it would end up being opened up on July 21st, just a few weeks later. If we could have seen it, it sounds like it's sort of like a mini Yellowstone, as it showcases quite a bit of hydrothermal action. Apparently, it got its name from an explorer named Bumpass, who discovered it in the 1860s. And by discovered it, I mean he stepped in a spring and severely burned his leg. Later had to have it amputated, so of course it was hell for him. Since we weren't able to see that, we'll stop here where there are some more minor springs. And now we'll drive a little further down to the Kohm Yah-mah-nee Visitor Center. Here they have general info and exhibits, as well as a park store and concession stands.
In 3 minutes in the auditorium. Thank you and enjoy your day in Lassen Volcanic National Park.
Now let's go to find the park sign. It's actually a little bit outside of the park. I have to get my classic flag pick, but the wind's not cooperating with me today.
Here we go.
Now we'll head on to our next stop, which is Redding, California, where we'll celebrate the 4th of July and stay for the night. We're extremely low on gas, less than a quarter of a tank. But after speaking with a ranger in the visitor center, she recommended that we take the scenic route back through the park and up to Manzanita Lake to fill up at the gas pumps there, rather than to get back out on the interstate and drive up that way. We should have just enough gas to do so. The person in front of us here is definitely scared of the edge. Seems as they'd prefer to drive into oncoming traffic rather than to be near the shoulder. As you can see, we're passing all the sites that we previously stopped at. And about an hour later, we arrive back at the Manzanita Lake camp store with just enough gas to spare. But boy, if patterns sure don't tell us anything. Of course, it's out of order. Nothing at this place seems to be in operation. The closest gas station in the direction we're heading is about 20 miles away. Hopefully we can make it.
Really nothing.
Terrible. Boo. Boo.
Luckily, we arrive in the little town of Shingletown just before we run out of gas. Doesn't seem to be much here except for a gas station, a general store, a little library, and a post office. And let's hop back on the road for about 40 more minutes to take us to Redding, California. After a quick hotel check-in and freshening up, we head into the town itself. It was really nice here, just not so many people out and about. It's just way too hot. It's at least 110 degrees. Let's try for dinner at the Post Office Saloon Grill, which has some pretty good ratings. Well, they're closed. Let's just try this place across the street then, called Final Draft. And luckily they're open. Since it's a brewery, we're gonna try out a few of their drinks, which were all really great. And here they have some of the biggest burgers I've ever had.
Are you a cowboy?
I'm a cowboy.
Kevin had the cowboy burger and I had some sort of jalapeno bacon burger. And now we drove over towards the area where the fireworks will be. They claim to have one of the largest fireworks shows in California, which I think is a little hard to believe. This place feels a little bit too small town in such a big state for that. Now that the sun has set though, it has cooled down significantly.
Alabama?
Okay, I believe it now. This was one of the best fireworks shows I've ever seen.
is smoky.
Yeah.
And now we're making our way over to the next destination. Be sure to catch the next video where we will explore Redwoods State and National Parks.